Do we live in an era of frankenfood? One of you may look at me and try to wonder what that means. What I'm talking about is genetically modified or genetically enhanced food. Today I want to talk to you about that. What I believe is that we don't know enough about this food. Therefore, we should have food labeling that lets us know whether the food we're eating contains any genetically modified ingredients. What I want to talk to you today about is, what is genetically modified food? Where does it come from? What are some of the health risks associated with genetically modified foods? And why do we need labeling? A paper by David Wollner, who's a food toxicologist for the University of California's Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources. A genetically enhanced food is described as this: produced from plants, animals, and microbes that have had their genetic code modified by the selective introduction of specific DNA segments through the use of gene splicing. Now, you may wonder, okay, what does that all mean? It just basically means that they modified the seeds in order to, either increase the productivity of the seed or protect it against herbicides so they can plant them a little bit closer together, okay? What this also means is there's no manual tilling, but there's an increased use of herbicides, which has led to super weeds and all kind of other things. Now you're wondering how much of this food is in what we eat. Let me give you a little bit of statistics. This one's from the 2013 report by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for the years running between 1996 and 2012. The percentage of U.S. agricultural acreage right now that is genetically engineered was 0% in 1997. It is currently at 85% as of 2012. So 85% of the corn planted in the United States is genetically modified, or from a genetically modified seed, should I say. Soy crops in 1997 were at 10%. They are now at 93%. So anybody who eats soy here, I can guarantee you you're eating genetically modified soy. There's an organization called the International Services for the Acquisition of Agribiotech Applications. What that means is they look at other countries and try to get these countries to accept, this biotechnology. In their 2013 briefing, they put worldwide figures at 175 hectares, or 432 million acres. That's roughly the size of Texas, Alaska, and California combined. So I can tell you right now, you've eaten genetically modified foods. It's in our cereals. It's in everything. Now this leads to my next point is, what are the health risks? And there's where the problem is. A lot of people don't know what the long-term effects are. The World Health Organization in their 2014 report on the safety of genetically modified foods expressed concerns regarding allergic reactions, the potential for gene transfer, and in addition, overcrossing or crossbreeding of generics into normal crops. Part of the concern also comes from the fact that the people who are responsible for ensuring the safety are the companies themselves. One of the largest companies is called Monsanto. They produce pesticides called Roundup Ready. A lot of you here probably don't know who Monsanto is because they've changed a little bit. Monsanto is responsible for Agent Orange. Monsanto is also responsible for PCBs, which are huge, cancer-causing. They're actually banned. If you notice on some of your bottles, it say PCB-free. That's because of Monsanto. Of course, Monsanto's, they claim they turn a new leaf. Okay. In the FDA's 1992 Statement of Policy regarding regulating new plant varieties, which is what they call it. This is a quote from their policy regarding how they're going to regulate. Because in some cases the regulatory jurisdiction of a new food product, including those produced using innovative methods, may not be clear, producers can informally consult with the FDA prior to marketing new foods to ensure the safety and regulatory status of a new food is properly resolved. What that means is, whatever the company tells them, that's what they go by. So the same companies that used to make pesticides and the largest manufacturers of these seeds are pesticide companies, and you may wonder why. Because they also sell the pesticide that the seeds are resistant to. So not only are they making money from selling the seeds, which by the way are patented, and there's a lot of lawsuits over it, but the herbicides that are used that the seeds are resistant to is also sold by the same company. And these are the companies we're going to trust. This gets down to why we need labeling, okay? Anton Wallers, Associate Professor for Social Sciences at North Illinois University, wrote in his March 1st, 2013 perspective on the labeling of genetically modified foods. It is estimated that 60 to 80% of processed foods in a typical American grocery store contains GM ingredients, almost none of which is labeled. The only store currently that has any policy on it is Whole Foods, which will require labeling on all their foods by 2018. It's 4 years away. Mr. Waller goes on to write that because of the FDA's stance on it, a lot of grassroots organizations are getting a little frustrated, and they're mobilizing around trying to get voluntary labeling. And I'm sure you've heard of some of the states that have also talked about initiatives, okay? Monsanto recently spent $5 million to fight just Washington's labeling initiative, or California, I apologize, California's labeling initiative. They don't want labeling, okay? But I believe we need to know, and we need to be able to choose on ourselves why. In conclusion, I just want to say that every day you're consuming these genetically modified foods. Are they hurting us? They've been around for 18 years? Maybe not. But I just think that we should have the choice whether we want to consume them or not. And it's not just crops, it's livestock. Purdue, for example, injects their chickens so they have more breast meat. Bovines are also injected to produce more meat. Okay, so it's in almost everything we eat. It's basically unregulated at this point. Now, going over some of the figures to illustrate the amount of crops that are grown worldwide, and a lot of countries have rejected it. Even countries that need food, okay? Because this is touted as a way to fight hunger. They've rejected it. They said, no, we don't want nothing, you know, stemming from a lot of the fears of this cross breeding into their regular seed crops. I've also mentioned some of the side effects, though a lot of them are unknown. The jury's still out on that. And finally, I've touched on why we need labeling, because we need a choice on what we eat. Now, I can understand the demands of world hunger. As a consumer, I want to know what I'm eating. But corporations are afraid of labeling. It has been said that genetically enhanced has a certain stigmatism, and rightly so. It's a complex subject, even for the experts, let alone us as consumers. All I want is a right to choose. Thank you.